The Iberian Peninsula, a region that hosted a blend of many kingdoms, cultures, and religions. From the Visigoths and Moors to the Reconquista between Christian kingdoms and Muslim emirates, eventually giving way to the birth of Spain. Join us on a fascinating journey through time as we explore the rich and awe-inspiring history of the Iberian Peninsula. Make sure to leave a like, turn on notifications, and subscribe for more history. In the year 709, the Visigoth kingdom had taken full control of the Iberian Peninsula and regions in modern-day France. After the Roman Empire had fallen, the Visigoths ruled Iberia for a time. That is until a new neighbor would begin moving in, the mighty Umayyad Caliphate, a great Muslim power that stretched from eastern Persia all the way to the coasts of Iberia. It is not exactly known how the Umayyads invaded the Goths, but one thing is certain. The powerful Caliphate was the leading force in the destruction of the Visigoth kingdom. During this period, the Muslim rulers allowed the Visigoth regional powers to stay in control of their local jurisdictions as a way to assimilate the population of Iberia, which was a melting pot of ethnicities and religions which included Muslims, Christians, and Jews. The Umayyads would continue to push the Goths out of Iberia. However, from this point on, the Muslim dominance in Spain would begin to decline. Towards the middle of the 8th century, the Umayyads would conquer all of Iberia, except for one region in the north that was home to the Asturias. The Asturias was an independent Christian kingdom formed by Visigothic nobles and officials who had been displaced by the Muslim invasion of Spain. Being the last Christian holdout in Muslim Spain, the Asturias eventually would branch out and form several new kingdoms. This would eventually be known as the Reconquista. This included the kingdoms of Galicia, Leon, and Navarra. After the Umayyads' collapse due to internal conflicts, a new emirate emerged to take hold of Iberia, the Emirate of Cordoba. What would follow over the next couple of centuries was a constant battle for control of Iberia between the Christian kingdoms and the Emirate of Cordoba. It was a transformative period in Spain's history of the power shift, away from Muslim control, and gave way to new kingdoms being formed in the strife. In time, the Emirate of Cordoba would not be able to maintain its sovereignty and would collapse by the early 13th century, which saw a rise of new powers, which included the kingdoms of Portugal and Aragon, and the formation of the Almohads. The Christian kingdoms were at ends with each other, seeing one another as bitter rivals. However, as the saying goes, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend," took hold as they would all unite against the Almohad Caliphate. This would occur at the Battle of Las Navas de Tolosa, known in Islamic history as the Battle of Al-Uqab, taking place on July 16, 1212. The Christian forces of King Alfonso VIII of Leon Castile was joined by the armies of his rivals, Sancho VII of Navarre and Peter II of Aragon, against the Almohad Muslim rulers of the southern half of the Iberian Peninsula. The Caliph al-Nasir led the Almohad army, made up of people from all over the Almohad Caliphate. The threat to the Hispanic Christian kingdoms was so great that Pope Innocent III called Christian knights to a crusade. In the end, the Caliphate was crushed. This would mark the end of Muslim rule in Iberia. With the Almohads defeated, this opened up all of southern Iberia to the Christian kingdoms to expand their regional grip on the peninsula. But this wasn't the last of what was to come. With growing French aggression in the north, Aragon needed to strengthen its hold in Spain. It was this growing concern that led to the joining of the kingdoms of Castile and Aragon in 1469. The marriage of Isabella of Castile and Ferdinand of Aragon successfully united these two kingdoms. After winning a civil war in the years following her coronation, by 1479 Queen Isabella was fully in control of her realm. In that same year, upon the death of his father, Ferdinand became the King of Aragon. Thus, the mighty Kingdom of Spain was formed. Spain would go on to proactively begin explorations to the Americas and beyond, quickly becoming a global superpower in commerce and war. Spain would eventually eradicate the last Muslim stronghold on the peninsula, which was the Muslim Emirate of Granada. This would be the last time Muslim powers would rule in Iberia indefinitely with the conquering and annexation of Granada. And in the coming years, would go on to acquire the Kingdom of Navarra, formally annexing the kingdom in 1515. The rich history of the Iberian Peninsula was one filled with war, conflict, strife, culture, religion, and more. In the end, the two great powers of Spain and Portugal would emerge as the permanent states within the region, and would ultimately be the trailblazers in the discovery of the New World, and shape the course of history for centuries to come.